Welcome to our channel. We hope you will have a wonderful learning experience here with us. You can listen to these podcasts at night, while taking a walk, lunchtime, or at any of your convenience. This is the second part of Logic and Critical Thinking course introduction. It is tailored exactly to the fitting of the Ethiopian Ministry of Education curriculum, but is also very useful for any Logic and Critical Thinking course. I am very happy you have chosen this channel in your study and politely ask that you subscribe, like and share the channel for more amazing tutorials. Now, without further ado, let's begin our course. Lesson 2. As an academic discipline, philosophy has its own salient features that distinguishes it from other academic disciplines, be it natural, social and humanistic disciplines. The general features of philosophy can be summarized as follows. 1. Philosophy is a set of views or beliefs about life and the universe, which are often held uncritically. We refer to this meaning as the informal sense of philosophy or having a philosophy. Usually when a person says my philosophy is, he or she is referring to an informal personal attitude to whatever topic is being discussed. 2. Philosophy is a process of reflecting on and criticizing our most deeply held conceptions and beliefs. This is the formal sense of doing philosophy. These two senses of philosophy, having and doing, cannot be treated entirely independent of each other. If we did not have a philosophy in the formal, personal sense, then we could not do a philosophy in the critical, reflective sense. However, having a philosophy is not sufficient for doing philosophy. A genuine philosophical attitude is searching and critical, it is open-minded and tolerant, willing to look at all sides of an issue without prejudice. To philosophize is not merely to read and know philosophy, there are skills of argumentation to be mastered, techniques of analysis to be employed, and a body of material to be appropriated such that we become able to think philosophically. To philosophize also means to generalize. Philosophers are reflective and critical. They take a second look at the material presented by common sense. They attempt to think through a variety of life's problems and to face all the facts involved impartially. The accumulation of knowledge does not by itself lead to understanding, because it does not necessarily teach the mind to make a critical evaluation of facts that entail consistent and coherent judgment. Critical evaluations often differ. Philosophers, theologians, scientists, and others disagree, first because they view things from different points of view and with different assumptions. Their personal experiences, cultural backgrounds, and training may vary widely. This is especially true of people living at different times and in different places. A second reason philosophers disagree is that they live in a changing universe. People change, society changes, and nature changes. Some people are responsive and sensitive to change, others cling to tradition and the status quo, to systems that were formulated some time ago and that were declared to be authoritative and final. A third reason philosophers disagree is that they deal with an area of human experience in which the evidence is not complete. Different people may interpret the evidence we do have in various ways. Despite these disagreements, however, philosophers continue to probe, examine, and evaluate the material with the hope of presenting consistent principles by which we can live. 3. Philosophy is a rational attempt to look at the world as a whole. Philosophy seeks to combine the conclusions of the various sciences and human experience into some kind of consistent worldview. Philosophers wish to see life, not with the specialized slant of the scientist or the business person or the artist, but with the overall view of someone cognizant of life as a totality. Although there are difficulties and dangers in setting forth any worldview, there also are dangers in confining attention to fragments of human experience. Philosophy's task is to give a view of the whole, a life and a worldview, and to integrate the knowledge of the sciences with that of other disciplines to achieve a consistent whole. Philosophy, according to this view, attempts to bring the results of human inquiry, religious, historical, and scientific, into some meaningful interpretation that provides knowledge and insight for our lives. 4. Philosophy is the logical analysis of language and the clarification of the meaning of words and concepts. Certainly, this is one function of philosophy. In fact, nearly all philosophers have used methods of analysis and have sought to clarify the meaning of terms and the use of language. Some philosophers see this as the main task of philosophy, and a few claim this is the only legitimate function of philosophy. Such persons consider philosophy a specialized field serving the sciences and aiding in the clarification of language rather than a broad field reflecting on all of life's experiences. This outlook has gained considerable support during the 20th century. It would limit what we call knowledge to statements about observable facts and their interrelations, that is, to the business of the various sciences. Not all linguistic analysts, however, define knowledge so narrowly. Although they do reject and try to clean up hadashmans, many of them think that we can have knowledge of ethical principles and the like, although this knowledge is also experientially derived. Those who take the narrower view neglect, when they do not deny, all generalized worldviews and life views, as well as traditional moral philosophy and theology. From this narrower point of view, the aim of philosophy is to expose confusion and nonsense and to clarify the meaning and use of terms in science and everyday affairs. 5. Philosophy is a group of perennial problems that interest people and for which philosophers always have sought answers. Philosophy presses its inquiry into the deepest problems of human existence. Some of the philosophical questions raised in the past have been answered in a manner satisfactory to the majority of philosophers. Many questions, however, have been answered only tentatively, and many problems remain unsolved. What are philosophical questions? The question: did Ram make a false statement on his income tax return? Is merely a question of fact. However, the questions: what is truth? The distinction between right and wrong? Philosophical importance. Sometimes we think seriously about fundamental life issues. What is life and why am I here? Why is there anything at all? What is the place of life in this great universe? Is the universe friendly or unfriendly? Do things operate by chance or through sheer mechanism, or is there some plan, purpose, or intelligence at the heart of things? Is my life controlled by outside forces, or do I have a determining or even a partial degree of control? Why do people struggle and strive for their rights, for justice, for better things in the future? What do concepts like a right and what are the marks of a good society? Often men and women have been asked to sacrifice their lives, if need be, for certain values and ideals. What are the genuine values of life and how can it attained? Is there really a fundamental distinction between right and wrong? Or is it just a matter of one's own opinions? What is beauty? Should religion count in a persona's life? Is it intellectually valid to believe in God? Is there a possibility of a life after death? 8. Any way we can get an answer to these and many related questions? Where does knowledge come from? And can we have any assurances that anything is true? The above questions are all philosophical. The attempt to seek answers or solutions to them has given rise to theories and systems of thought, such as idealism, realism, pragmatism, analytic philosophy, existentialism, phenomenology, and process philosophy. Philosophy also means the various theories or systems of thought developed by the great philosophers, such as Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Augustine, Aquinas, Descartes, Spinoza, Locke, Berkeley, Kant, Hegel, Nietzsche, Royce, James, Dewey, Whitehead, and others. Without these people and their thoughts, philosophy would not have the rich content it has today. Even though we may be unconscious of the fact, we are constantly influenced by ideas that have come down to us in the traditions of society.